Welcome everyone to the CFO Swinger Watch Report technical analysis video for the week of July 29th through August 2nd. Now before I begin, you guys may have noticed that this technical analysis video is a little bit shorter because, well, I have received multiple messages from Instagram and Discord asking how you guys are able to stay laser focused on a couple of names and to not be distracted by other names. And so I give you guys kind of a very simple but effective solution in the report itself, specifically in the market summary section of the report. So make sure you guys go back and read that solution. It will be very, very helpful. And it may even sound too obvious, but usually the most obvious and simplest answer is your only solution. All right, now for all the newcomers here in this technical analysis video, make sure you guys are always reading the report first before you watch this TA video. Remember, I have way more details on what our actual swing trade ideas entail for this week. For example, I provide the exact option contracts that we need to be looking to execute on for each swing trade idea. And on top of that, I also provide the exact 3-point game plan for each swing trade idea using equity. And so that's just a small snippet of what the weekly report says. So make sure you guys are not only watching the technical analysis videos. With that, let's take a look at the markets. So the S&P 500 has effectively retaken the daily 50 SMA. Now, if you guys remember from a couple of months ago, I specifically talked about this as well, but when the price decides to break below, or at the very least, retest a major SMA like on the daily or the weekly time frames, or maybe even the monthly, we tend to kind of overshoot below it or above it when we're talking about a downtrend, but obviously we're talking about a current uptrend here. So the price here has basically retested the daily 50 SMA and then overshot its retest by moving slightly below it. And then usually what happens after that is that the price decides to snap right back up over that SMA that it had just basically lost, right? And so what we tend to get here is a very nice V-shaped move, right? Again, this is not just for uptrends, but it can also be for downtrends. And so from a downtrend perspective, we tend to get a nice upside down V shape. But in this case, in our case, currently, we should be getting a nice V-shaped move back to the upside. And that's exactly what we got on Friday. And if you take a look at the hourly timeframes, any of them, right, we are essentially getting this nice V-shaped move. So if you guys see here, right, like this. Okay, it's a very crude drawing, but you guys get my point. And so in my perspective here, and from my analysis on SPY, on every single intraday time frame and also all the other higher time frames, especially on the daily time frame, I specifically want to see a nice continued move up higher into this very, very hectic and catalyst-filled week. Again, we have a lot of binary events, especially earnings. And we're about to hit the zenith point of earnings season here, so make sure you guys read the report on that as well. And so the S&P 500, as long as it's able to hold over the daily 50 SMA, so basically over 542.50, or at the minimum over 540. And if you guys remember, the 540 is a part of that 10-point range between 550 and 540. We should be able to continue to consolidate as we head into the last part and last half of quarter 3. Now, specifically for this week though, what I want to see is a rapid recovery move back to the upside. Hence, the reason why I mentioned that V-shaped recovery. Now, if we do see that nice V-shaped recovery, I really want to see this recent gap down area being completely filled. And that will be completely reliant on how big tech earnings do. Again, that will completely be reliant on how big tech earnings report this week. So for the S&P 500, as long as we're able to go back over to retest 550, I'll be completely fine. And if we don't decide to fill in this gap, I would be happy with the 550 retest because we do have that 25%, or not even just 25%, maybe at least 10 to 15% fill of this gap down area, right? Now at that point, if the price decides to move up higher, we should be seeing a retest of the now curling down daily 10 SMA, which has also produced and induced a bearish crossover where it has officially went down, retested the daily 21 SMA, my light blue line, and crossed below it, officially giving us that bearish crossover. And so in this perspective, it seems like the short-term momentum is officially to the bearish side. But as long as we're able to hold over the daily 50 SMA and continue to consolidate within this 540 to 550 range, we should be setting up for that intermittent bottom that I've told you guys multiple times last week and last week as well in the reports and also in the Discord as well. Okay, so with that in mind, let's take a look at IWM. So IWM, wow, what an amazing last 3 weeks, right? Since three weeks ago, we've got our official breakout. And so on the weekly time frame, if I just hide all my lines here, this looks amazing, right? Even if you just take a look at the monthly time frame, the monthly July candlestick is huge. And this usually indicates that we're about to have another long bullish candlestick for the month of August. And I wouldn't be surprised if IWM continues its rally and break out to the upside and is able to hit the previous all-time high ranges here, which is a little bit still, it's a little far away, I would say. But if it's able to continue to move up higher, I wouldn't be surprised if we hit new all-time highs within the next 2 months or so, as we're anticipating that first rate cut in September, and just continue its rampage of relative strength and very bullish momentum. And just the last 2 weeks or so, it has really just shown us why it has that relative strength, because it's just been moving completely inversely to the overall markets like the S&P 500, which has officially moved down about nearly 5%, or even NASDAQ, which has corrected to about 10%. So IWM has continued to make its nice bull flag that I've told you guys about multiple times last week, and it was able to even attempt a nice small breakout last Friday. And so I would love to see this continued sideways consolidation underneath this 226.50 resistance level, and eventually be able to break over it and create a new higher high compared to this previous high pivot point at 226.64, and officially hit my next target resistance level at $233. Now, lastly, I want to give you guys this one thing here and show you guys this one thing. If you guys remember, I specifically said well off of highs when compared to the S&P or NASDAQ, so it has a lot of room to move this year. And I wrote this back in early 2023. And so obviously early 2023 was a little bit too early, but you know, based on when I wrote it, it seemed like it had a lot of room to consolidate and move to have an eventual breakout. And so thanks to all that consolidation that we saw for all of last year, we're able to finally be able to see that nice breakout as all small caps and small cap related sectors and groups are anticipating the first rate cut and possibly towards a more optimistic and easier environment to operate their businesses and just overall trading wise as well. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at our first and last swing trade idea for this week. Love. All right, so I go very in-depth on love in the report itself too, so make sure you guys watch that. But for now, I'll give you guys kind of the basics of the technical analysis on this ticker. So first of all, what do you guys see here? All right, on the weekly time frame. If you guys have an answer with a macro base chart pattern, then you're right. Give you guys yourself a huge applause, a big round of applause. Because love here, first of all, is a small cap stock. Okay. So if you guys see here, the market cap is at $431 million. And that is a small cap. That's what we consider a small cap. And so Love here has been making this huge base since 2022. So nearly 2 years where this base has been forming. And so because of this lengthened and very, very long base, this is also called an accumulation phase. And for all the people who know what stage analysis is, Love has now transferred from a stage 1 to stage 2 stock as it tries to break out from this very nice, almost 2-year long macro base chart pattern. And this macro base chart pattern has a lower range support level at $20 and then an upper range resistance level of $30 as well. So it's a nice 10-point range with the midline resistance and support level at $25. So it's quite literally a textbook macro base chart pattern. Now, if you guys don't see this, let me identify it for you guys. On top of the macro base, we also have a very weird looking cup and handle, not cup and handle, inverted head and shoulders chart pattern. We have the left inverted shoulder, we have the right inverted shoulder, and we have the inverted head here as well. So obviously, you guys should be getting my gist here. This is a very, very bullish chart pattern, right? And it's obviously showing us that there's a lot of accumulation going on here as the buyers and sellers are constantly battling out to make sure that the price is staying within this 10-point wide range. And so at some point, I'm going to be expecting a very nice breakout over the base resistance level of $30. And that's the reason why I give you guys an entry point over 30.55 to get the official confirmation and also to be able to break over the previous pivot high point on the weekly time frame here of $30.39 and be able to say that and we'll be able to observe that the price is going to be breaking over this previous pivot high point and stay over this previous pivot high point. Right now, on top of this, on the weekly time frame, that looks absolutely amazing. The daily time frame has officially started its nice uptrend breakout because we have been seeing higher highs and higher lows. So we have our first low here, and then our second higher high over here, and then we have our higher low, and then we have our first higher high, and then our second higher high right over here. Right, so this occurred about 2 weeks ago. So we have a very, very nice typical zigzag uptrend. And so I would assume that with this daily consolidation that has officially formed a nice bull flag, we should be getting our third higher high and higher low pivot points. And that's where we want to be at for a nice breakout over this nice daily bull flag. And that's the reason why I give you guys a nice entry point over 28.55 if you guys are wanting to see an entry point over this bull flag, or at the very least a nice breakout from this descending resistance trend line, and also over the daily 10 SMA or my red line right here. Okay, so again, there's a lot of factors that have to come together, but overall, there are a lot of complementing bullish signals on all the higher time frames, like the weekly and the daily, which is the reason why I'm very bullish on this small cap stock. Now, the only thing that's bad about this small cap stock is that, well, it is a very illiquid stock, right? I mean, the average volume is sitting at 250,000, while the average daily volume usually ranges from 150 to around 200,000, right? So, for stocks like this, you need to see a lot of volume, just like what we saw back here a couple of weeks ago, right? Where it's double the average volume. And also, the volume needs to continuously come in order to have the price continue its current trend, like the uptrend that we have now. Now, as long as the daily 10 and daily 21 SMAs are continuously supporting the price up higher, in which I mean that the price is staying over both of my daily 10 and daily 21 SMAs, we should be good for a nice continued long-term uptrend, and the stock should be able to break out of its massive macro base chart pattern. Okay, so again, I would highly recommend, again, just to look at this stock from all the higher time frames. I would preferably recommend you guys to look at this from the weekly time frame compared to the daily, so that you guys are not able to be completely shaken out or faked out from a breakout, and so that you guys are able to see the bigger picture for this lagging small cap stock. Okay, and if you guys are wondering why this is a laggard stock, specifically small cap stock, well, simply take a look at IWM or the Russell 2000, and then take a look at the lovesac company or ticker symbol LOVE, and you guys will know why. Alright, so that is it for this video. If this technical analysis video was very, very insightful and most importantly applicable, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. And if you are new here and if you aren't subscribed yet, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. And on top of that, make sure you guys hit that notification bell as well, so that you guys know when I am live or when I have uploaded a new video. Good luck, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.